right, welcome back, brewcrew, to another episode of Shedding Your Skin. Today I have Nikki and Kurt from Irresistiball, Pythons, and Rattery. That's hard to say, like my brand, kraftbrewmorphology. Everybody stumbles upon it, but I think I got it right. Thanks for tuning in. As always, support USARK. They fight for our rights as reptile keepers. And thanks to everybody's support. And if you're not supporting, please support. We quashed a bill in Colorado and a bill in Arizona that would have infringed upon our rights to keep reptiles. So that's awesome. Continue to support USARK. All right. Let me shout out who's in the chat so far. Bill, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Michaela. Thanks for tuning in. Send me a DM with your hub, and then I can get you a quote for the shipping for those snakes from the auction. Rob, what's good? Thanks for tuning in. All right, we got Eric B. No Rakim. Thanks for tuning in. More Forge. Thanks for tuning in. Who else we got here? Sarah from Sundog Serpents. Thanks for tuning in. Caught up yet? Nope. We got Vance from Blue Zombie Morphs, who is going to be my guest next week. So that's awesome. We're giving him a chance to actually talk, since if you've seen him on the RWO shows, everybody talks over him and me. So it'll be nice to have him come out and, we get a one-on-one type of interview. All right. So without further ado, let me bring out my guest. Also, for you people that are watching this over on Facebook, do me a favor. Head over to my YouTube page and give me a like and a subscribe. All right. Let's bring out our guests. All right. So, how are you guys doing on this Saturday?
Doing good.
All right. So I know you guys just did a live last week of, introducing yourself to the community and all of that. So just give the cliff notes of, how long you've been in, what got you started, all that sort of thing. Your elevator pitch, if you will.
You want to start us off?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So went over to my buddy's house, held his, sub-adult female ball python. She had just shed, fell in love, came home, told her we had to get one. And, she threw a little apprehensive fit, but it was good. And we went to the local reptile store and picked up one snake and then another snake. And then, by the end of the first year, we had probably 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. And then it just exploded from there.
We started with the ball pythons in March of 22 was our first one that we went and got for his birthday. Yeah. And then by June or end of May, we had rats, because then we had to have rats to feed the snakes, and it added up from there.
Nice. So you guys made that decision almost right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna breed rats or rodents.
Yeah. We were feeding live, and the cost from the local shops live was about $75 a week, and that was like, okay, time to grow our own.
And also that was about the time they started putting, at least locally, there was a cap on how many live rats or how many feeders in general you could buy at a time. So like 4 feeders wasn't going to cut it.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have this behind me when I decided to breed my own rodents. I was doing Rodent Pro every so often, filling up a box with me and my buddy, and it's just like, this is getting prohibitively expensive for me to do that, especially for hatchlings. It's like, I'm gonna order whatever and hope they eat. No, so I lucked out. My buddy breeds rodents at the time, and Chris from B&S also helped me out. So I was able to get a couple colonies started just to sort of cut into that. But yeah, it's that I'd recommend that 100%.
Oh yeah,
breed your own. Do it. I do rodents or Norways and ASFs, and yeah, it's a lifesaver, especially with the ASFs now, because they're nice and tiny. When it's hatchling season, things like that, you have something that's much easier to feed and much more nutritious. So
We love our rodents. We have rats, mice, and ASF. We started with the rats, and then we had a lot of requests because we'll sell to local people too. And then they wanted mice, so then we got the mice, and then we needed mice too for our hatchlings, and the ASFs came before them.
Yeah, we kind of had a miss for the first 6 months with ASFs. They didn't, I don't know what, they just wouldn't breed. But then eventually they blew up, and now we're on our second round of
right. Yeah, for me, it seemed like they took a lot longer to get established. There weren't any issues. I didn't have any like die-offs or anything like that. Like I've had with other things. Once they started going, they were going. But with mice, they were the worst. I had like a 1.3 just because I had a garter snake, and I forget why I had the mice, what I was feeding at the time, and I introduced a new one and gone. And I'm like, okay,
no,
I'm done. No more mice.
Mice are what we found, at least. Well, we found the same with the ASFs, or at least that's what we've been told.
Once
ASFs,
you introduce something, or the male dies, colony's done.
Yep, you got to keep them going. But also, a lot of people will start breeding the mice, and then they'll get a colony, and then they won't be patient enough to wait for them to start doing their thing. Some of them take forever. We have a ridiculous mouse right now that he has wanted me to get rid of, but I am bound and determined to keep the colony going. And it's been like 6 months, but she's pregnant. She's huge. She's just
it's crazy. She is enormous. She's probably 3 times the size of a normal mouse.
Some of them take like 3 months to get going on that first litter. So
and then sometimes with that first litter, it's they're gonna cull it. I've had that with some rodent colonies that I've started. My first one, I got so excited. It's like, all right, I'm producing, and then I go in the next day, and it's like, they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah, that's what you don't get warned about. They usually eat their first litter.
Right, and so once I figured that out, I think by the third one they had stopped, but I had also adjusted their diet, increased the protein. So that I forget what I was feeding Missouri, and I forget what it was, but I switched to Kalmbach, and that sort of has taken care of that. Occasionally, if I remove one to feed to a snake and it doesn't take, and then I put it back in, they will cull that one, but it hasn't been too terrible since that.
We feed Kalmbach also. We started out in Missouri and then found out about Kalmbach towards the beginning and have gone that way ever since.
So what's nice for me is I can get it from Chewy.
Yes.
Yep.
Same.
Now I'm not of the size and scope where I'm getting a pallet at a time. I'm getting a couple bags, so it's very, very easy for me to throw in 4 bags of Kalmbach and get food for my dog. Who, I don't know if you can hear, she's chewing on a bone right now in the background. And everything else I need, dry goods wise, and free shipping. Poor FedEx guy has to, drag it all to my door, but it's a lot easier than going, to. Agway, I think, is the only place that carries rodent food, and that's not even close to me. Tractor Supply doesn't. So, I mean, it's been nice finding that on Chewy. And I for a while, it was much cheaper than the 50-pound bag in Missouri. And that's what I recommend. But if you can't get it, you can't get it. So, while we're on the subject of rodents, what do you guys supplement your pellets with?
They'll get treats every now and then. They get like dried mealworms, but he makes mash for them out of the vines.
Yeah, I'll put apple.
At Halloween time, we did pumpkin.
Yeah, pumpkin. Basically, whatever we have available. Sometimes I'll throw some avocado in there.
Nice. Yeah, I've always been trying to figure out what to do with the dust, and it's always like a bar or something like that. Where
God, they love. Mash.
The first couple times they were apprehensive, but then like you can throw in giant ladles full and it'll just vanish. I tried cooking it in a like a full size keg, but I found that it got burnt to the bottom. So then I switched to a large stock pot, and I'll just make small batches and freeze it off. Unthought as needed.
One thing I never thought of doing was, I used to brew my own beer, and I still do occasionally, and using the spent grains and stuff like that just to throw in there. like a granola bar. It's something for them to chew on. So
Right.
not dealing with chewing on my enclosures, like what happened this morning.
That way nothing goes
Yeah.
to waste.
You're right, and I'm not wasting stuff. So, I also have isopods and dubia roaches, so I'm almost composting or getting rid of anything I'm using in the kitchen. If something can eat it, they will eat it, or it'll it'll go in there, and then it just feeds my animals. So it's kind of cool to have that system going.
It is. No, and it's been really nice to just be able to freeze the extra bags, because when he makes a batch, it's like huge.
Yeah, it's normally, I don't know,
It's a lot.
10 gallon freezer bags full. So it lasts a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like anything I can use. I'm not wasting stuff. This is my big deal. I can't stand.
And
if I eat a banana, I'm throwing the peel and it's going in the dump. Well, isopods can eat that. The dubia can eat that. Something can eat that. So it's reducing my waste. So anything to sort of increase production, the health of the feeders I'm producing is awesome. Okay. So Morphforge is asking if we use cuttle bones.
I have never tried kettle bones, but we've used apple sticks, like applewood sticks. They love those. I've never thought to use a kettle bone.
No. They do love those apple sticks, though. Those things vanish quite rapidly.
Yeah, I mean, I have an issue with so you can go to the pet store, get like the chew toys, things like that for rodents. I can't. For me, I just can't spend that money on something that's going to get shredded in minutes. So
Right.
I'm constantly trying to figure out how to get the rodents to chew on things other than my tubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
You don't
seen
want
people
that.
that put like chunks of 2x3 in the tub.
Yeah,
Stuff like
I
that.
was thinking of just using scrap wood that would be acceptable and not gonna harm anything.
No.
Not have any oils, things like that could get into the rodents and get into the snakes. So pine, things like that, but I'm not bringing anything in from the wild. Hey Stan,
No.
how's it going? Let's see. We got Angel tuning in.
Hey, Angel.
And I missed Jessica from the Holdback Rack. They're here. Thanks for tuning in. They have another auction on their channel tonight, but be sure to check out Nikki, Kurt, and Angel. After this, we'll let you get dinner if you're on the East Coast, and then you tune in at 3:30 their time.
It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, it's going to be a full day.
So, you started the rodent production early. How many snakes do you have now, and what's your production rodent wise? Are you going above and beyond on the rodent side to cover what you have?
Yep. We have about 50 rat colonies, I would say right now, and about around 20 mouse colonies, 20 mice colonies, and about 15, well, not quite 15 ASF colonies. But yes, we produce more rats and rodents than we need for our snakes. We're sitting at about a little over 100.
Probably like 110 now.
100 snakes.
And here I am, like at 40, and like, yeah, all right, I got a lot.
Yeah, no, it escalated very quickly.
Yeah, we went nuts there for a while. Yeah, and Jessica helped us out with the auctions.
Yeah, we bought just a couple on the auctions, just a few.
Yeah, I always say, I'm done for this year, and then within a week of me saying that, I've already got something else coming in. But for me, I want to keep things sort of small to a certain footprint because it's just me.
Yeah.
It can become overwhelming at times with a full-time job, and you don't want to neglect any animals. You don't want to,
that is
my dog's.
That is a statement that is very accurate. It becomes quite a lot of work. I'd say about like the 40 to 50, especially if you're snakes, especially if you're breeding your own rats. And I was fortunate enough to stumble across a hot water pressure washer. So basically a steam cleaner. And that's how I clean the rat tubs.
Oh, that would be amazing. You get
Yes,
everything off and it's sanitized right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then you just let them air dry. It's about 45 minutes to do the entire the entire bins that we clean at once. We usually do one shed at a time.
Because we have a whole second set of bins. So
Yeah, I had that, but between chew outs and things like that, they've sort of become my primary bins, which gets
Yeah.
annoying after a while.
it does, because it's hard to change them out as fast as you want to.
But the one thing I want to do when I finally get out of this apartment and I have my own building for the rodents, I want to get like that full-on wood shop vac where I can just remove the rodents and then just put that vacuum in there and suck everything up and be done. Then clean it, sanitize. All right, we're good to go. Just boom. I do have a shop vac here that expedites certain things, but it gets clogged up really quickly and it gets annoying. But to have that like central vac, if you will, to just suck everything up, be done with it. It goes in a hopper somewhere, and then I can, throw it out in the woods.
Absolutely.
Yes, out of sight, out of mind.
That's one thing I can't do here, just because of the smell, and then I, let neighbors know and all that stuff what I'm doing here. But I would like to be able to like compost all the stuff, all my waste from the animals. But I can't do that, so it goes in the dump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Like some of the yard waste companies will let you put it in the bin, and you can, pick up. I think they pick up every 2 weeks out here.
We don't do that.
Yeah,
though.
we create so much waste from the rats that we just have a dump trailer once a month. We just haul it to the local place and dump it and call it a day.
Yep. For me, I think when I do a full clean of everything, like substrates from, all the ball pythons, all the rats, all the, menagerie of stuff I have, it's like 10 bags.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
It all adds up fast.
Well, like I have tortoises and, other things that don't, it's just them and their enclosure. So they don't, I'll spot clean, but it's a lot of substrate that's in there. And it just like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like I went through the bale from Chris over at BNS pretty quickly. And that's keeping all of my hatchlings on paper. So the way, like, to be able to compost all that stuff would be awesome.
That's one thing that saved us is we got this new rack behind us. Is it ARS?
It's an ARS.
Yeah. Or new AR. What's new to us? ARS rack that someone local was selling, and we got the Reptisorb liners. That.
Oh, so that's the paper that it's like the wee pads for dogs, kind of.
Yeah, but better. It's like has the cutout for the water and everything.
And I just store them in a spare tub.
So he just has them in, like we have spare tubs ready all the time.
That's what they look like. They come with the cutout.
They come pre-cut for the cup
and you wouldn't
holder.
think this was absorbent, but
it does quite a good job.
It does the job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It almost has
even to just have that underneath your substrate.
Yeah. Anything.
I'll tell you, paper towels is about a day and a half, 2 days.
Yeah. We were using paper towels too because we were having, I don't know what was going on. I think it was the end of the summer. It was really hot here this summer. It's been getting warmer than normal. And no matter how many times we changed out the substrate, we were getting like these little, not fruit flies, but some kind of little bugs that were really loving being in the cocoa. And it was driving us nuts. So
yeah.
Then we moved to paper towels, and then paper towels, we were going to Costco and buying like
2 to 3 at a time.
The big pack. And now we've just moved on to the Reptisorb liners, and it saved us a lot of time and energy.
I have an in for cheap paper towels, so I get the ones that you see in like the public restrooms, things like that. You pull down.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see them up there. They're next to the dubia, but those sort of rectangular ones that you pull down.
Nice. Yeah.
And they fit perfectly in the hatchling tub, so that's nice. But I also deal with fruit flies.
Yeah.
Because I have lizards and tortoises, and they eat, vegetable matter, and it's a never-ending battle.
No, they build up quite fast
they do
too.
build up.
But I mean, it is nice when they get contained to the enclosure, and the species that in the enclosure will eat them.
Yeah.
So that is nice, but occasionally I open the door, they get out.
Yeah.
And it becomes a nightmare for me. So, and I don't want to use any pesticides, things like that. So occasionally when it's bad, like in summertime, I'll get those fly strips and just hang them up and deal with it. But it's a necessary evil. You throw a head of lettuce in with tortoises for 2 days, 3 days. You're gonna get bugs. But I don't have any other issues despite keeping all these feeders here. No rodents, no roaches, anything like that. So I mean that's sort of my thing. Is like, I raise these things up, but I don't have them here. So
yeah,
I don't understand how you guys have this problem.
Yeah.
But mainly it's food storage and being clean.
Yeah.
Keeping everything immaculate is the key.
It is.
I used to have an issue when I would keep things on the ground, either like open containers, dog food, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's inviting. So now they're off the ground or in those feed bins that you can get at Tractor Supply or whatever that with the screw on top.
The vault.
All right, so we covered the rodents, and it didn't take the whole show like it does sometimes when we just keep on talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we could talk about rodents forever, but
especially us.
I had I was I on John Feely's or he on my I forget what we just talked about rodents the whole time. Same with I think Rusty. When I had him on, it was like, wow, we talked about rodents for an hour. Like, let's talk about snakes. That's why we're here. Ball pythons. It's sort of what this channel is about. But we get distracted, things like that, or the conversation just happens. So
you kind of need the rodents, though. Yeah.
Right. And it's informative to other people who may have had issues, things like that. Something's going to come up where they'll be like, oh, okay, that's how they dealt with that, or this is what they're feeding. That's always nice. I did have, for me, a weird one where I had to call 2 colonies because every time a female would get pregnant, everybody would just eat it. It was the weirdest thing. I've never seen that before where they, maybe, and I didn't see, maybe there was just an illness, something going on in that colony where the female would die and they would just go after the protein. That may have happened, but it was quite gruesome. And I haven't had that happen since, at least with the Norways. And it was just
yeah.
Like, we
find like once you get that genetic or that whatever they have out of it, it everything's good.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there was something else going on because I used to have Rexes for the longest time, and I bred that out, and they would sometimes, cull whatever just to, get rid of bad genetics that they knew about that we don't see.
Right.
But they're certainly interesting. Yeah. And
they are. They're a lot of fun and they're super, super smart.
Yeah. And, if they start chewing out, they're going to continue to do that. Or if they get out. I had one get out through a little, I was growing out a bunch in one of my empty concrete tubs and one squeezed out. Now he was caught within, an hour, but once he was out, it's like, okay, you can't go back. Sorry.
No, that's like today we have to, or tomorrow morning probably, because today's busy. Tomorrow morning we have to go out and call our grow out tub because we have a big galvanized trough tub that has our grow outs in it, and they've gotten really smart. And I went out there last night, and they're building a mound
so they can jump out.
They're creating an escape plan.
Yeah, I mean they're incredibly smart. Like I know exactly how this one got out because there was a little tiny, crack, if you will, but there were enough other weens in there that they made a mountain, and this one just happened to get out.
Yep.
They didn't chew out or anything. And I had no issues since that, but it was like really. I was walking, in the hallway, and one crawled over my foot. And I'm like, okay.
We had that happen. We sometimes have them in like storage totes, but clear storage totes, and then I put the hardware cloth on them and have like the part where the water on the side. And it was before I got smart enough to put like wire on them instead, and I had just zip ties on it. and I had
Yep.
put them in there, and I put them in the kitchen for the night, come out the next morning. And I came out and I walked into the kitchen and I looked, I like saw something out of the corner of my eye, and there was this rat just sitting on the kitchen floor, like on top of a box looking at me. I went, oh no, what are you doing there? Like trying to remain calm.
Female rats. Too.
Yeah, I mean,
Where's your friend? But I found all of them very quickly. They didn't last after that.
Yeah.
They were gone.
Luckily, they were some of the pets, so they were
pretty
hand
friendly.
tamed.
But then after that, they went psycho. So they'd sensed the freedom.
yeah, but yeah, once for anything, once they get that freedom,
It was over.
you can't do it anymore. But apparently, this had settled just enough that the pastel that's here was able to get like halfway out, and she gets stuck. It's like, you're ridiculous. You don't
Can't go
fit.
back.
No.
But yeah, occasionally I'll have a snake get out too, and it's like, well, they're always in one of the racks on the heat tape.
Yep.
Yep.
Ours always, well, it doesn't happen very often, thank God. But when it has happened, they've like climbed up. They always go up into a spot on the heat tape.
Yep. And it's just, for me, it's just everything happens to be here, and it's not like they're going to be up in my refrigerator or something else.
Yeah.
I've been generally lucky. When I had my Cayman, he climbed out and was sitting in somewhere in my living room over there, and I got up to go to work, and I just see this little crocodile just staring at me. All right, now it's time for you to leave.
Yeah. Oh, no.
But that was fun to have. Nice garbage disposal.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the worst one we had get out was when we had got a banana, and we had it in the quarantine, and we have that set up on shelves in the closet, and it went up and then underneath some plastic bags, and we couldn't find it, and luckily he moved, and I could hear the crinkling of the bag, because that one still probably would be loose.
That was really sad when it happened, because that's the snake I posted this morning. That's the first snake that I had to have when it came down to it. It was like, I picked out other snakes, but that was the first snake that I kind of threw a little hissy fit because I had to have it. And then I was so mad because I went to feed and I left the drawer just like I had panicked in the middle of feeding him or something, and I had left it open just like a smidgen. It's right at the beginning when I was jumpy feeding them. Thank God Kurt found him.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where it's like, all right, I'm up. I got to check everything. Whenever I do some activities, like, okay, everything snug, secure.
Right.
Just because, I have a dog, so I have no clue how she's going to react to anything. Sometimes if I have a, crested gecko fly out on my hand, it's like, get the dog into the crate, away from anything, just so I can, she doesn't harm the gecko or, whatever it happens to be. And it's just like, sometimes some of these lizards are quick. And you don't expect them to just, fly off your hand 4 foot in the air and scramble into the other room.
Especially when you're used to a ball python.
Yeah.
They're a lot easier to capture. They generally don't jump out of your hands.
No, our dog has no fear though, and she likes to, when you're down in the lower part of the rack feeding, she'll want to come and stick her head. She's a little Frenchie. She wants to stick her head in and see what's going on. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. You should not have your face kennel there.
So I don't have an issue now, but I have a bearded dragon in an enclosure that I used to have a Savannah monitor in. A couple of years ago, it died for whatever reason. I think it was wild caught or something like that. But it was like it was same level as my dog, and my dog was scared to death of the thing. She would come up, look at it, and he would posture up or whip his tail or whatever, and the dog, she'd be gone. Now, mind you, this is a lizard that big at the time.
Oh my God!
So now she doesn't bother checking out anything over there. But if there's rodents or something, she generally will be sniffing and let me know somebody didn't eat, which is nice.
Yeah,
that is true. That is nice.
She won't catch them for me, but she'll tell me where they're at.
I'm okay with that though. I I don't want our dog going after the rats anywhere.
All right. So spent a half an hour talking about everything else but ball pythons, really. So in 2022, you started with 1. Now you're at 100.
Yeah.
So when you guys got in, what was your sort of? I know you had to have one, right? Type of thing, and then just escalate. But what was like the thought process of, purchasing the animals at the time? Was it, I know when I got in, it was buy females. It didn't matter what the heck they were. It was buy females. They lay eggs. Your males can do the work. So I don't really know what the logic was, 2 years ago when I got in, 5-6 years ago when I was starting purchasing everything. So I'm just curious to see, what changed over time. You guys are buying at the back end of the pandemic going on.
I would say when we started, at first we were just kind of all over the place, going for like our first snake is an inchy champagne. So he was just pretty and we needed to have him. And then at that point, we were kind of afraid to buy anything on Morph Market because we didn't know anything about like shipping a snake or.
Yeah, we'd only heard horror stories.
Yeah. So we were just buying from like our local reptile store who had a good selection, but we just buy the things that we thought were beautiful from there. And then once we started branching out and buying things on Morph Market and then finding the auctions or going to our local expos, I'd say that we started to look into projects that we were interested in.
It was definitely like visuals we couldn't afford at the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So buying the hets for things that we wanted to make that now are so cheap that we could probably buy a visual, but now we're working on the project. And
I would spend hours and hours and hours on the morph calculator looking at like what could we do with this? What looks good to me?
That's what was dangerous. So that's when he was working nights, and then he introduced me to Morph Market. So he'd go to work at night. I'd be laying in bed with our son, and I would go on and shop, and I'd be sending him all these snakes. While you're at work, look at this tonight, and then he'd go on and look at the Morph calculator, and the rest is history. Now we just have a lot of different projects going on, but
yeah, I mean, excited. For me, what you said, the first snake was an Enchi champagne. Now, and champagne's crazy. I mean, it does. A champagne het pied looks like better than the pied version. Complete pattern disruption with almost anything you put into it. So I mean, it's really interesting that you got champagne, as one of your first ball pythons, but Enchi sort of teams it.
Get a little bit of that pattern on the back.
And then so there's a couple things you have to, if you like the pattern, you have to add into your champagne combos to get them to sort of look remotely close to what we would assume a ball python would look like.
Yeah. Yep. So we have him, and then after, it was like months down the road, he got a female super inchy champagne. So she's kind of his replacement now, but
yeah, and she pulled a lot more pattern through.
She's really pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've hatched 4 champagnes out. They all look different. I mean, obviously the one was, het pied, the other one's, got pastel in it, but they're all over the place. As we constantly questioning, hey, is there something else in the, male I have or whatever?
That's what makes it fun.
Right. With champagne, that you definitely have that possibility with the absolutely no pattern, just getting wiped out by the champagne.
Yeah, you could have a 5-gene champagne that looks like a bell that you rolled in dirt for a little bit.
Yep.
It's crazy. I mean, so it interests me in that aspect that there aren't really many genetics that will do that, right? Monsoon, you have things that are very noticeable, like champagne. So I sort of I'm keeping some just so I can tinker with down the road.
Yeah.
When I have time, it's like, okay, what can this bring to a certain project? Is it going to be terrible or, whatever? But it's just finding that one where it works and creates something new. It's like, well, yeah. It took me 20 combos to hit something cool with champagne that wasn't done. But now it's like the key to bringing, the pattern and everything back to sort of normal.
Yeah, I think that's what's fun too, is thinking of ways to make certain morphs look even better or bring out something different that maybe we don't have in our collection, not necessarily that isn't seen, but just something that we don't have in our collection.
Right. And that was the other portion of, the buying process that we had. It's let's see what hasn't been done yet. And you'd go on Morph Market and everything would be blacked out. And you're like, okay, let's try that.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
For me, it's when it doesn't have like a name, right? Yeah, if you put in a spot nose leopard clown, you're gonna see it's a Batman now, or
Yeah.
Spider Pastel's a Bumblebee. Like when it doesn't have a name, it's like, okay, this might not have been done before.
Yeah.
Right.
Or nobody bothered to name it and it's been done. But certain combos is like it doesn't have a name to it. Okay, maybe nobody's done it. But I also go on to the Morphopedia and sort by rarity. And a lot of the stuff is just one-off things that
We've
somebody
never done
produced
that.
that you can't.
Now
find.
you just taught him something new that he will
Yeah.
have to go do later today. So
So
thanks. Ken.
now you gotta talk to Zach and Nathan. You can get an Astro and a Bang. They're two of the most rare ones per Morph Market, so you can make a Space Bang or something like that between the two co-ops.
Oh.
But
We
yeah,
also had a lot of fun because our first clutch, what we hatched in August of last year,
Yeah.
and that was a super pastel Inchi Mojave.
Yep.
And then our first pairings went with like our hets that we wanted to have the male's first year under their belt, their first season. So we put her with our butter het puzzle. So that was okay because we could identify all of those. But then our next clutch was super fun. And I think even Angel teased us a little bit about it because we didn't start out simple. So our next clutch was our het sunset guy. And what is he? He's pinstripe.
Yeah, pinstripe.
Oh
I'll
my
have to
gosh.
go look.
Well, you'll see why it was really funny after Kurt tells you what we were trying to identify. It was fun.
So he's a Lemon Blast Extreme Gene Het Sunset.
So throw
Oh,
some
good.
extreme gene in there and have fun identifying your clutch, but then put the pinstripe in there and then have even more fun.
We put him with an OD leopard.
Yeah.
Female.
The orange dream leopard.
Oh, so
part
all
wasn't
sorts
so
of
bad.
patterns.
Oh, yeah.
and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but we figured it all out. But so we didn't start out small. We started out by just throwing them all in there. Made some beautiful babies though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I remember my first clutch, and just being like, they're here, and now there's still 3 left, but 2 of them are getting shipped when I can ship. So, finally. So it wouldn't be alive with me if my dog wasn't here whining to go out.
That's okay. Ours is sleeping on the couch, being really good during this portion. We'll see what she's doing later on during the day.
I wish you would sleep. So I will give you the opportunity to show off some snakes while I deal with this.
Yeah.
And I'll put you guys on the full screen, and then I'll be back because she is.
All right.
getting a
Sounds
little
good to
rest.
us.
All
Ooh,
right.
who do you want to show? You get to pick somebody.
I'll grab one of those, the babies from the
I usually get to pick. I'm going to let him pick this time. So we have one we're assist feeding. We lucked out in our first 2 clutches. We didn't have to assist feed anybody. We thought we were doing really good. But now Kurt's become an assist feeding master.
Yeah. The first time's the worst time with assist feeding.
Luckily, we have someone down the road who's amazing. They're the constrictor den, and they helped us figure it out. So this is one of our babies.
Yeah, that's Lemon Blast, Orange
really
Dream, Leopard, Extreme Gene.
Let's use okay. Let's see how bright this gets. Woo! Now you can see us.
Yeah.
She's going into.
They
shed,
came out
though.
crazy looking.
Oh, now you can see her.
Yeah,
She's available.
it was always fun for us because having Extreme Gene and stuff that's kind of hard to identify anyway gave us an opportunity to reach out to Ken Masick, and he wrote us back and was helping us identify the Extreme Gene in these things.
She's fun.
Yeah.
And she's a good little girl. She
Also,
won't try and eat you.
We've had really good luck with our hatchlings eating. We've only had the one that's stubborn.
You want to get Squiggy?
Yeah.
Squiggy's not for sale. I'm hoarding her.
So she wants to go back in the bin.
Extreme Gene is really cool. It does look great in pin, but it's really fun to identify in pinstripe.
It's very difficult.
But we figured it out thanks to Ken. He's over there. He's got Squiggy. Squiggy's from our last clutch. You'll see why I love Squiggy so much. Good Squiggy.
Orange Dream, Black Pastel, Yellow Belly.
Ooh, nice.
Possible 66% pet clown, then possible piebald.
She's pretty. She's really orange. You can't really see it so good here, but she is really bright. That was a fun pairing. We got our first visual clown ever that now is staying here. So now we have the the big version from one of our local breeders, and now we have our own baby version.
Yeah, and these were the pair that produced these were like 4th and 5th snake.
So we got to watch them.
Exciting.
We got to watch them grow here. Not a Barnhart Black Pastel, but she's beautiful. Oh, you know who you need to get? I'm just going to tell him who he needs to get. I won't get him. Just tell him. Can you get the Black Pastel?
Oh, just the black.
Right there. Up, right there.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is, it's in
She's
shed.
going in the shed.
She's going into shed, but she is from the same clutch, and she is just a Black Pastel. But now she's in shed, but she's so pretty. She's just funky.
Yeah, she got some really good patterning.
Rob, you need Barnhart in your life for sure. Plus, if you get to talk to Tom, Tom is like one of the nicest people ever to talk to.
Yeah, he's very, very helpful.
But
very nice guy.
This is from that clutch, and she is just a Black Pastel. But we like how funky she is.
I like my Black Pastel. I have
Same
my
here.
champagne paired to mine right now.
Oh, that's going to be beautiful.
That is going to be beautiful. See, we had a Black Pastel and champagne combo, but it was an older female that we got, and I'm not exactly sure. It was like all of the eggs were duds. That was our first time we've had that happen. They were all like see-through.
Yeah. This past year it was awful for me. I had one clutch completely slug out, like die off, more or less. 2 snakes came out, but the one died right away, and the other one never thrived. And then the other one was started out like 8 eggs, and then it was 4 eggs, and then hatched out one with a smaller eye. That one's surprisingly doing pretty well. The one I thought was the best died this morning.
Oh,
and a 3, and it was the nicest one from the clutch. It's like, oh, come on, really?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. You get used to it after a while, and it's like,
I know you still don't want it. It's the same with the rats. Like, you don't want it to happen, but it does.
And it's a leopard pastel, really cool pattern, really nice example of it, and really eating well. And I fed them Monday, and today while I was cleaning, in there, upside down. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me! Come on. But it could be worse. It could be something that I invested a lot of money on, and I'm out of that window.
Yeah.
You spend a couple $1,000s, and you're 6 months in, and snake dies for whatever reason.
I'm sure that happens as well.
Yep.
This is from our Extreme Gene clutch. This is our pastel leopard. Pretty sure she's Extreme Gene too.
It's got some blushing.
She's fun.
Yeah. That was the one thing. It's like the snakes that came out of the eggs, you couldn't be happier, or we could not be happier with how they turned out. We got a couple of bells, and obviously those things sold immediately.
Awesome. Yeah, I set out to hit everything. I did hit everything last year that I was planning on in the pairings, and they were unfortunately the ones that didn't make it. So I hit a Puma combo. I don't know what else was in it. It was a Puma, maybe spider pastel. I don't know. It was hard to tell. And I hit a pastel bell. So hopefully we have better odds this year. I changed up the pairing, so we'll see. But I
we're
do like
waiting to see what
leopard
happens.
and pastel.
Yeah. She's just a pretty girl. She's staying here too. We wanted to get so she's one of our pet sunsets, and all of our pet sunset stuff is pinstripe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to have some that we could figure out that doesn't have the pinstripe.
Like, I love pinstripe, but apparently, that's not everybody's thing.
Right. Yeah. There's certain ones where it's like, okay, you know what it's gonna do. It's gonna be everywhere.
Exactly.
You know, like I have acid, which is going to be the same way, where it's like, okay, it's everywhere. It's going to be have
But
to
it's
clutch it later.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. You can't go wrong with acid.
Yeah, and
especially when you throw pastel in it or something like that.
Yep. Yeah. I got a pastel acid. It was bought as a het clown, but now it's a double het clown pipe, which is gonna be fun.
Nice.
This is my boy that escaped. Now he's big, but this is my one that got out, and I was so sad.
But he's back.
He's back.
Yeah,
He's a little bit of everything.
Almost 3-4 hours to find him.
Yeah. He's a banana inchy cinnamon, either yellow belly or asphalt. But he's handsome. It's like a big puppy dog.
Yeah, he's really friendly.
He is. He's a good boy.
Are you guys going to test for yellow belly or asphalt, or are you just going to breed it out and see?
The plan with him was just to do a breed it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it would be very, very simple to send in the shed.
Yeah, we could do that. For sure.
Yeah, we've got all the POS stuff. We're going to have to send in for shed tests, especially the POS sunset stuff.
Yeah, so
we just haven't got around to it yet.
So your thoughts are just to shed test what you need to?
Yeah.
Is it,
go ahead.
No, I have a couple things where it's like I was doing the pairing anyway. So if I get surprised, I get surprised.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where it makes sense. Or, if it's yellow belly or asphalt, you have that. I'd prefer an asphalt on the other side because I'm making freeways.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Instead of ivories. So, and I gotta apologize for my dog. I don't know what's going on with her. I am busy. I'm ignoring
That's okay.
her. So she's in the crate. So she's whining.
We were enjoying showing off some of our snakes. We don't get to do that very often. So.
Yeah.
For sure.
And people love seeing them. I try to give my guests an opportunity to, showcase what they're working with, things like that. Instead of me doing it like I do every, Saturday when I don't have a guest, or every Tuesday or whatever. So.
Yeah, I think this is our only female maker we have.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
Especially when they're, a combo like that. You get multiple, genetics worked in.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. Let's put it that way.
No.
Right. Yeah, I've had some things that it works out that way. Awesome.
Yeah. He was our first banana.
Yep.
Kurt wasn't too into the banana.
That's one thing I don't work. I had one, but she unfortunately died for whatever reason a couple of years ago or last year. Paired up, doing great. Then went off food. I thought everything was normal. In the tub, but
yeah,
is what it is. She was she was a weird looking banana. She was really, really I would say pale. It didn't have those. She was past albino, so I think she might have been for albino. So she was really light. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Would have been cool to make some combos with her, but yeah, I don't really have any. I don't have any other banana. That was the only one, and I work ultra mel, and I like that sort of banana looking snake. I just don't work it.
Yeah,
that was my other snake I had to have.
Yeah, we just got a male ultra mel. So
I like it. It's just that color pattern, the reds, the oranges.
Yes,
it works for me. Even my hypo stuff, they all kind of look that similar color palette.
I love cinnamon, hypo cinnamon, or not hypo. Well, yeah, hypo cinnamon looks great. Ultramel cinnamon looks really good. I can't complain there.
I'm gonna hit cinnamon pinstripe head ultramels. We'll see if she goes. So that'll be cool.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I have to wait a couple of years to grow up the females. If I were to hatch them, because everything else Ultramel has, I got plans for it. I'm not going to waste a ultramel pied female on a sin pin had ultramel.
Right.
I'm shooting for the double visuals.
Yes. That's what makes it fun, though, is the down the road projects. We got excited, so then we had to buy some big females so that we could get into some stuff now, which is how we got our first clutches last year,
Yeah.
really. But other than that, most everything is smaller or is now
Yeah, it's
some
right
adult
about
just about
yeah,
at the right
right
size.
about the 1500, 1600 area.
Nice.
Just
be
waiting for the
patient.
follicles.
Yeah, so when I got in, I bought pretty much everything as a hatchling or small, or slightly bigger. So I grew everything up, so it was like a 3-year wait, if you will.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, yeah, I can buy breeders. Yeah, I'll cut the time, especially if you have a good male or a good female, you can just jump ahead. But I did learn a lot about the snakes that I've grown up, and their temperaments, are they going to go off of food if they're a male? My male champagne passed up. Once breeding starts, he's not eating until somebody ovulates and he's back on food, because for whatever reason he thinks his job is done. It didn't make sense. I didn't pair him last year and he followed the same schedule. It's like, okay. But yeah, things like that are interesting, especially when you have snakes in your collection for a while. You sort of pick up on, timing and things like that. I use Husbandry Pro, and it certainly helped me out a lot. Are you a pen and paper Excel spreadsheet or Husbandry
We started
Pro?
out as Google Sheets,
Yeah.
and then we've transferred slowly over. We still have a lot more to put in Husbandry Pro, but we've started that. Mostly right now, we're just keeping track on their bins. We just have little bin cards that have their info on them for us. So we're a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'd like to go fully into Husbandry Pro.
Same.
Once you get everything over, it's awesome, because like the stuff you're doing every day, things like that, if you clean, you just click the button, clean everybody, or change the water.
Yeah.
You don't even have to track that stuff, but I mainly track weight, feedings, breedings, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people will just assume that a snake ate on its feeding schedule and just only put in when things refused. So it all depends, what system works for you guys.
Yeah.
But it is
Yeah.
very
Right now, we're mostly still in Google Sheets, but
Yeah, I used to track everything from urates. I mean, literally everything.
when
But
we started and we had like 10.
once I hit about 35 is when that kind of went away.
Yeah. Some of the extraneous stuff that really doesn't matter if I'm selling the snake, or it's not like, who cares when I cleaned? I know I cleaned.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
extra effort for me to, even if it only takes a minute or two to do that function in Husbandry Pro, it's sort of like, okay, we can forget about that, or water changes. Well, let's focus on the important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you buy a snake from me, chances are I forgot to update what I was feeding it. Just know it's an appropriately sized rodent. Apparently, I have negative like 2,000 weaned rats at this point because I haven't updated what I have going on. But it is nice to track. You can track inventory and things like that in Husbandry Pro. So it is really nice.
That
to have
is
that
nice.
function.
Yeah, that's our next mission probably, is to get everybody finished putting in there.
We probably have 10 or 15 on there.
More than that.
Oh, you did more than that.
So
I don't know how many, but
when you guys are doing the transfer, are you taking all your historical data and manually entering it in, or just here's the snake, here's the size, here's the basic info?
Yeah.
Start over.
Okay. Yeah. For me that was the easiest thing to do. It's like, okay, you have some history. Okay, let's just put in where you are now, and we'll start fresh.
Yeah, we started out putting them into the system on like long road trips to get other snakes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going on a drive. Here, honey, you take the phone. You start putting them in.
Yeah, and then the other reason why we haven't done it completely is we're transitioning from our other racks, like to ARS racks. So
we're
like I have ARS the 5040s, I think, that need to be cleaned and then brought in the house and set up.
That's fun.
It'll be exciting.
I have another hatchling rack sitting over here. It's hooked up and everything, but I haven't entered any of it into Husbandry Pro because I haven't used it yet. I don't even know why I
Yeah.
haven't plugged in. Why am I wasting the electricity running the heat tape for no snakes?
Right.
Well, for me, I guess it was just easier because the plugs and everything are recessed, to just plug it in and forget about it.
Have it ready.
Yeah, you
for
don't
when
have
you
to
need
move it when you need it.
Right.
It's already done.
And at some point, I'm probably going to fire up the incubator so I'm not scrambling, the day I have a clutch. Oh,
Yep.
Okay. Now it's got to heat up from,
Yep.
70 degrees to, proper temperature.
We get that. We have our incubator running, just waiting for the day more eggs come. Could be any
So-
day.
Usually I'll luck out and I'll have a leopard gecko egg or two. That sort of prompts me to start the incubator. And they go before any of my ball pythons have. So it's sort of been nice to have everything all set up, ready to go. It's already running.
Yeah.
Similar temperatures. But I don't know if she's going to go this year. It's been 3 years, 3 slugs.
Ah,
Brutal.
So just give me one. Come on. You have good genes. It's a male. Just give me
Hopefully
that
this is-
crazy albino tremper or whatever raptor thing.
hopefully this is the year for you.
I mean, I have Russian
Maybe.
tortoises that I've learned that I have to brewmate them, which is kind of annoying because I don't have a place where it gets cold enough here, and I don't want to put them in a refrigerator. It's just weird for me. So I think next year I'm going to see if I can put them over at my parents' house because they have a basement where they have an unfinished section where it gets like in the 50s. There's no heat in there. So hopefully I can get them to brewmate and get some eggs from them, but they take forever to incubate. But that would be nice to have, 2 captive bred Russian tortoise babies, and they have a pretty decent market right now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So still on snakes. You guys are in your second year of pairing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So
So
we're
second
just-
season.
Second season. Hopefully, all of our ones that the majority of ones that we've paired could lay eggs anytime now.
Yeah.
Now we're just in the waiting game.
anticipating.
Okay, so what's the high end, the low end as far as here's how many we paired, here's how many clutches we're expecting.
Oh my
I like
goodness.
to think if I hit half of what I paired, that's awesome type of thing.
How many did we pair?
I think we paired probably about
8.
6 or 8 females. I think 3 of them stocked for sure,
Yeah,
and they're
or more.
maybe the end of this month or middle of next. Hopefully, they will be laying eggs.
Awesome. Yeah, for
Yeah,
whatever
it's-
reason, everything here goes in the summer.
Yeah, we'll see. This was so the first ones we paired were March of last year. March and April, right?
Yeah.
Because we got a clutch. Our first clutch was in August, and then we got a clutch in September, and then
December
December.
was the last clutch.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
there.
I just find it interesting, when people have snakes laying eggs. Like for whatever reason, even I brought in a proven breeder laid around the same time as my first girl laid, and I had 2, a proven breeder that was new here and a new girl that laid, but they was all still around the same, general time.
Yeah.
Around July, hatching August, September, type of thing. So I'm curious to see with everything completely new animals being paired, if it follows that same cycle, or if I get stuff earlier or later.
Yeah, I know. We're curious to see what happens here. We have a few that look like they're really close. We have a female that we got from someone last year that they'd paired a few times to snake that they had. Then
She's a pastel mimosa.
Yeah. Then she's been with us for about a little over a year now, and we've paired her, and right now she's gotten big, and she looks like she's gonna go, but we'll wait and see. We also bought an ultrasound machine, so that's exciting for us. last expo we went to, we made enough to buy an ultrasound machine, which was one of our goals for this year, which
Awesome.
is huge because we have
that was the big ticket item to knock off the list for this year.
because we have a female that we've been trying to pair, and she was one of those ones that we're like, is she really a female? But she is a female, but she just isn't. She's not really building yet. She looks huge, but
yeah, she's like 1,700 grams and just not building, which is okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it's weird. You have this thing that they're building, they're of age, all that stuff, and then it's like, what? You're not actually once you get the old.
Yeah.
I don't have one, so I'm sort of I pair once a month until I see an ovulation. Type of thing, or she doesn't show interest, which means she's either building at the point now where it's done, or she's reabsorbing. Which is unfortunate. Last year I had 4 or 5 reabsorbers. Like, oh man, come on, really? But it happens.
Yeah, they do what they want.
They do what they want, and that's okay. We're okay with that. We just love them.
But yeah, I mean, for me, the ultrasound it'll allow me to target a lot better.
Yeah.
Where, because I have a banger male that I'm probably gonna be going to quite a few females, and I want to make sure that I optimize him. And I'm not just pairing him, wasting him when she's not building. And,
I mean, that's the nice thing. The new ultrasounds it's basically like a laptop. We would borrow, last season we borrowed, from our local reptile shop. They let us borrow theirs. And it's like one of those big, huge, like Mac computers.
Yeah, the CRT.
Yeah, giant. But, it weighs like 35 pounds.
It was amazing. But then after getting a new one and seeing like the quality of the picture
quality is the huge difference.
It is in a laptop bag. It's just amazing.
Yeah, part of I've seen some where it's like, okay, yeah, you hook it up to your computer with a USB, or there's an app for it or whatever. It's like, nah. I gotta get, I at least spend some money on it. But I've also been looking at medical surplus.
Mm-hmm.
Because occasionally somebody's getting rid of one of those old dinosaurs, and you can get it relatively inexpensive. I think Ray from Alluring Serpents has one of those ones that he got off the, one of those auction websites or whatever, and he says it works. It's just older.
Yep, they do work. It's just nice.
It definitely works.
It's nice to store this one compared to the other one. The other one was sitting on our kitchen table, but we were super grateful to get to borrow something.
Yeah, that was really nice of them.
Gave us an experience that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, for me, I just keep on buying snakes instead of buying the ultrasound.
Yeah, that's the other thing nobody ever tells you. The equipment is expensive.
Or, I probably could have had better racking, but I bought a snake instead.
Yeah.
It's like, if this stuff worked for Chris over at B&S for how many years, it can work here for a couple more until I can reinvest and get some, ARS racking over here.
Right. I know. Well, we wouldn't have this if we didn't know people that were getting rid of it. So
yeah, and that's another thing. So unfortunately, we see a lot of people getting out. So if you see somebody that's moving their collection, and they've moved their collection and they still have their infrastructure, for me, that's an ideal opportunity, because all you have to do is clean it. You don't have to worry about the collection and be like, well, I spent $2,000 more, but there's 20 snakes now. I have to make sure they're fine, and then I have to move because they don't work here.
Yeah.
But I do keep my eye on local Craigslist, things like that, local Facebook groups, just to see who's moving stuff. And sometimes you miss out. Somebody's got a bigger incubator than you, and it's like everybody's jumping on that. It's like, oh man, it's
I know, a hot commodity item.
I still have a Coke fridge that I have to finish building.
There's somebody next town or whatever over. I got to see if it's still on Facebook Marketplace, but it's $50 for the compressor shot, and it's either a Coke or Pepsi fridge, one of the ones from a convenience store. It's like, and if I can get that, we throw it in the back of my truck, rip the compressor out. I don't need that. Make it a lot lighter.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah, I think we paid $100.
Yeah, and for me, it bugs me when the thing doesn't work and it's essentially scrap. when they're charging, just because the brand of what, it's a monster fridge. It's like what, $400. It's a hunk of junk. The compressor costs more than the fridge.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
fixing it. And I haven't been, too bad as far as inquiring, because people get upset when you like, yeah, $50, I'll come pick it up. But they think it's, because it's branded, it's worth something more. But yeah, I do need a new one or another one, because I can only fit 6 tubs, I think, right now. So having that, convenience store fridge incubator would be nice.
Yeah.
It's $50 plus heat tape and a thermostat compared to a couple $1,000 from Wellbanks plus shipping.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
No, we have everything to set it up. We just need time.
Yeah.
That's the kicker.
That's the hard part.
More time.
Oh yeah. Luckily for me now, since it was weird because COVID happened and I was home all the time, so I was able to do everything and just work remotely. And then we went back to the office, and I had, I was doing my whole week in 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had some other time where I was still working, but I couldn't do anything. So I was all over the place, and pretty much everything was crammed into my weekend. So I lost those because it was doing stuff like this, dealing with the animals and stuff like that. And it's like now it's back to normal. I have my scheduled days where I do things, and it's awesome. So if I have Sunday available, tomorrow and obviously Monday. So if I had a project, I'm able to take care of that. Like I've rearranged stuff and trying to optimize my space.
Makes sense. We've been all over the place in here, but I think we've settled on. So this is like our living room, but we have a pretty.
It's like a large. It's almost like a
long
square
living room.
because we have a wall or a wall that separates the kitchen, which is over here, and then this is the side we're on.
Nice.
But
But
it's all open.
Yeah, I have a living room, dining room, I don't know, den, whatever. It's all one room here, but
Mhm.
around every wall is some sort of animal enclosure.
Yep.
So I've been trying to just consolidate to get everything to one spot, and it's been a pain because I would love to move stuff to the guest room because I can climate control better. But
Yeah.
I have to let the dog out of the crate because she's going to continue to whine, but I'm still here.
And drive you bonkers. We get that. All right. That means we get to show more snakes.
That I am busy at this time, and she chooses to.
Oh,
Yeah.
we haven't.
Luckily, our dog's still sleeping.
Yeah.
She's sacked out. She didn't sleep very good last night.
She's a funny girl, but she's a good dog.
Yeah,
One
mine's
of the
just
snakes that.
old.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
She's old and got stuck with me for 2 years when I
Aw.
was home all the time. So she's
Yeah.
gotten used to that. So if I'm ignoring her, she takes offense.
One of the snakes that he's excited about is a snake that we got from one of Jessica's auctions from the holdback rack from Powerhouse Pythons, and it's a Volta.
Yeah. Volta.
So we're
Nice.
having
Black
fun with
pastel,
that
I
one.
think.
Nice big animal.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
came to us at what, like
I think she was
700
7 or
grams?
8. Yeah.
700 or 800 grams, and she is a good eater.
She always wants to eat.
I don't know if I've seen one of those in person. I think Scott from Scooter Serpents has one, and the thing is ginormous.
Yeah,
We
we've
can't
seen
wait.
a shed from a full grown, and it looks like a 2-liter bottle.
Yeah, I mean
It's
it's almost like a
enormous.
longer blood python.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. So
Yeah.
we're excited to see what she looks like later on. in life.
Oh yeah, and if she produces given her size, larger clutches, that's even better. Because you can throw heads, things like that in there, double heads, whatever.
Yeah, we're excited to see. I'd take her out, but she'll probably try to eat me. She's always hungry. Always
Yeah,
hungry.
even right after she eats, she wants more.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does. She eats, and then I think it was last week, Kurt fed them, and I came in at the tail end of it, and I was like, "Hey, she looks like her name's Mars." I said, "Mars is at the front of her bin. Did you miss her?" And he goes, "No,
Yeah, I
she
gave
just
her
ate.
A small, large,
Leave her alone."
or a large medium, and she just hammered that thing, and it was gone.
My biggest girls took I I want to say they were very large smalls. I mean, they were female rats at the point of reproduction. That size. So whenever they were, she took them, and I like the name Mars Volta.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything here has a name.
Some funny jokes and stuff like that. So I get that. My male highway is named Kenny Loggins. So
Oh, nice.
One of
I
our
appreciate names and stuff like that.
we have a special clown male, and his name is Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll
From,
clown.
Metalocalypse. Yeah.
I mean, for me, when I name stuff, it's got to be funny. My bell is Betty White.
There you go.
Ah, nice.
That's it. I just have 2 snakes that are named.
Oh, all of ours have a name. Our baby snake, or one of our little snakes from our first clutch that was like the tiniest. Her name's Moxie. She's the fighter that keeps on going.
Yeah. She was so small.
But yeah, everybody has some kind of name here. Our stranger, we have a stranger female, and her name's 11.
Nice. I mean,
See?
There's 40 of them. Or more than that, maybe. You know, the ones that are pets, they have names. But the ones that are here, it's just too many things to name. And then I'll name one where it's like, okay, that was a good pun. And then I got to sell it. So the blood python is called anything. The devil, Satan, asshole, whatever.
Right.
It's got all sorts of names depending on his mood.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
Yeah, I
Nope.
remember one of the first times we told somebody we named all of our snakes. She just laughed at us. She went, "That's ridiculous."
Oh, no. She said, "Isn't that cute?"
Oh, yeah, there you go. Isn't that cute?
Isn't that cute?
But yeah,
it's,
no, there's
F 2022 4CP.
There you go. Not like we have a highway. Her name's Ventura.
Right,
Ventura
we just-
Highway. We have a mystic. We have a mystic Russo. Her name's Mystique.
I feel like that one's a fairly common one.
We have a really big snake. Her name's Bessie, like from Cars. Oh, Bessie.
I gotta ask, do you have one that's either a Monty or a Lucille Ball?
Nope.
Nope.
Huh.
Nope.
No,
Not yet.
we do not.
Normally
Nope, our
that
names.
those are like 2 of the most popular ones.
Nope. We have unique names.
Well, sometimes.
Ours are named from like things like one of our snakes we drove down to a guy, his name's Steven. He's Odin's mixology down in Oregon, and it was our longest drive to get a snake. So her name's Odyssey. We drove a long way to
Yeah,
get her.
like 6 hours one way.
Some of
Okay,
them
so
just have
you're
fun
not the
names.
only ones where everything has a name. Stop.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
went out
think
twice.
would be. Oh.
She's not listening.
And some of them don't have as intriguing names. They just are named off of shows that we liked. Or
I'm gonna try something new.
All right, good luck.
I was gonna get out Loretta.
Yep, that's exactly it. Morphforge. We name it. We keep it.
She's being
Maybe.
quiet.
I name it. I keep it.
Yeah.
We name it. We keep it. We like that.
I do find it interesting when people will be like, "Okay, this one's Bob."
Yeah.
Bob. No,
Like,
we don't have Bob.
I named so many snakes, I've run out of interesting names.
Get out Loretta.
Really, all I had to do was stand up.
Here's Loretta. She's a big girl. She's a beast.
Yeah, she's nice. She's a nice,
And,
thick girl.
Loretta.
Yep. Epic Mojave.
A beast. She's a good arm workout. Just to get rearranged. Hold on.
yeah, I find sometimes like my tallest rack is right next to my fan, so I get really scared when I pull out certain things. I definitely have hit my hand on the fan and not the snake previously.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
We have a ceiling fan directly above us, and that, man, I got whacked this summer right in the thumb. That felt good.
Yeah, it's the word. Like I didn't realize that. Like I have a scar from a ceiling fan.
Mhm. Yeah, they move around pretty good. When they hit your hand, it doesn't really slow them down much. I found that out.
No, I bounce off. Or what else? If I'm using one of the snake hooks or something like that to grab something, I'll forget that a fan is like literally there, and I'll whack it. Or with a Swiffer when I'm cleaning or something like that. It's just a pain.
I can.
Do Voltas have visual characteristics? I think they're just big.
Well, they
Yeah.
can.
So
It's a
it's-
low morphs as well. They can-
Yeah, Volta is a region. So
Right.
Just a bigger
So they're just bigger snakes from a certain locale.
yeah, so like she is what is she? A black pastel?
Yeah, black.
Black
No.
pastel Inchi.
Yep.
So she just looks like a black pastel Inchi, but Kurt will get her out. I just got out a different big girl for you. I imagine she will be larger than that someday.
Yeah, she's not full grown yet, but
But we just had her
Yeah.
since last fall.
yeah, she's got
Getting good.
that nice inchy pattern.
But this is her. So yeah, Volta's a region. The snakes just are
Yeah, they
known
just
to be
get larger.
So they're going to be what, like 6-7 foot, something like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, up to
and wider.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thick. We'll see. Now we want a male Volta. That's our next mission.
Yeah, it's weird that there's only a handful of like locality ball pythons,
Mhm.
where the other species, it's you're focused solely on that. It's like well, we don't necessarily care if it came from what Ghana or what are the
No.
other two countries. Stop.
Yeah. I know that's one of our funky little project things that
Yeah, I'd just
we
be
stumbled
curious
upon.
to see it. The Volta, does produce all Voltas. Is it going to produce all bigger snakes, or is it just random?
Who
Yeah,
knows?
I'd
Occurring.
imagine, right?
Um,
We'd
I mean,
like to find out.
I guess over time they might have gotten bigger for whatever evolutionary reason.
Yeah, maybe larger prey. Who
Yeah,
knows?
something like that. Because generally there's a reason. I forget which area it is where the ball pythons are from, but there's like a rainy season or something like that. There's more rain than normal, so there's like semi-arboreal there. But that's mostly where our stuff isn't from. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting to see things like that where things have adapted. Even like spiders seemingly adapted over time to eat when they don't have a wobble and breed like crazy and throw their genetics like crazy. So it's just little things like that that have interested me. I did a video a year or two ago about spider genetics when there's a paper that came out. So I talked about it. But
Yeah. We have a bigger, well, we got him bigger, but he's our spider highway. He just likes to corkscrew really bad. And it's funny because lots of people say, well, he must not eat very well. He is our best eater. He can nail a rat upside down, sideways.
It's
a good
usually
boy.
upside down when he hits the rat.
But he's gorgeous and he's a great snake and he's a good eater.
Yeah, he's super friendly. He just likes to corkscrew.
yeah, I mean, I have a bumblebee spark that's like that, and she, all over the place.
Yep.
But again, she's laid multiple clutches, eats like a champ.
Yep.
Aside from that, and there's nothing wrong with her. She does everything fine, and there's seemingly no, enjoyment of life issues with her. She just has no sense of balance or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Constant, and snakes can't talk to us, but she is thriving. It's not like she's not eating, things like that, where it's impeding her ability to exist.
Yeah, it's not detrimental.
Right.
Just
And
gives them a little extra.
I've seen somewhere
characteristics.
where it is like that, where it's so bad they can't function, and that's where it stinks. But most of the time, it's not. That's not the case.
We have another spider that has, so far at least, has no wobble. Our spider.
And it's weird. You can develop it over time.
Yeah.
I noticed one of the champagnes I hatched out, it started to be a little funky, but again, no issues. It eats fine.
Yeah.
I lucked out and I missexed her when I hatched her out, and she wound up being a girl. So
Yeah, so I just recently learned how to probe, and I've been probing ever since.
yeah, when I got my red line stuff, I was hoping he was going to send me a probe kit, but he didn't. But I'm pretty confident at popping at least hatchlings. Larger males is. Just hope they're males.
Yeah, they're very, very strong. It's surprising when you go to probe them, the amount of pushback they have. It's almost sometimes, or like that female we were talking about. I reprobed her, and the one side I was able to get in, then she wouldn't let me in on the other side.
Yeah,
Stubborn.
then I'll have, like, I can tell you my blood python's the male because when I got him within the first week, he showed me everything.
Nice.
Sometimes they will do that.
Yeah, especially when they go to put a urate on you.
Yeah.
But I
thanks.
think that they can musk. He's never done it to me.
Oh.
But I think that's one of their defense things because Huffy and Puffy and showing me everything. But he's a lot better now. I had him out earlier today.
We just got a Mexican black king snake, and that was our first musk experience. That was fun.
Yeah, it's quite a experience. I've had garter snakes do it to me in the past. It's just like, oh, I can't wash it off of me.
No,
It was beautiful.
it was all over the place.
All over me at our expo. It was great. I was like, I'll take it out and show you. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
great.
there are certain ones that I don't necessarily want to buy at a show or handle at a show just because of that reason. And I also don't really have, unless they're ball pythons, I don't have the best of luck at shows. Last year I was going to buy I forget what kind of tegu it was, but I'm like, okay, I have it. And the second I let this thing get his base, because I was just holding him by his stomach, he didn't put his legs down. Second, it's like, okay, I'll support him. He freaked out and was running up my arm, clawed me to.
Oh, that's not good.
The person that was selling to me is freaking out. I'm like, I'm trying to get him back to you and calm down.
Yeah.
He was fine and then freaked out. It's just like, damn. So we saw an albino one 2 weeks ago, and Brad's like, you want to hold that one? I'm like, no. I still got scars from the other one.
You were good after that.
Yeah. But it was $100. So, I mean, I thought about it, but after it freaked out, I'm like, okay, this is going to take a while. If I want to tell you, I'm going to get a hatchling.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to work with something from a baby when you can do it every day rather than break bad habits.
Yeah. Exactly.
And, yeah. When they get pretty good size and tear you up.
Yeah. Even with like boas and bloods, if they're already have attitude issues, it can be really difficult to break them. Now, sure, I can handle my boa and never actually handle it. I can move him to clean him and things like that, but he's still like, I wouldn't feel right selling an animal like that to somebody as a pet because they're gonna get lit up.
Yeah.
Right.
You open the enclosure, stick your head in, he's coming for you. That's with handling multiple times per week. Just some boas are just dicks, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we got some old, like not older, but breeding size female ball pythons. And I learned my lesson because they hadn't been handled very much. And I am like a bin checker. Like
she's a hover checker.
And I'm only 5'2". So when I check a bin, my head is in the bin practically every time. And so I checked a bin not too long after we got them, and I got tagged right like in my eyebrow. And I had no idea it happened. I had like a flashlight in my hand because I just like crack it just small enough to look in. And I was like, God, the flashlight went out. That's weird. But it was because she was on my head, and I didn't know she was on my head until like the Velcro sound went bloop, 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 out of my forehead.
Hey, Tom, thanks for tuning in.
Hi, Tom.
It's great. Hey, Tom. See, there's Tom. He's wonderful.
I need to get some of his black pastel.
You need a Barnhart black pastel. We have a Barnhart black pastel.
It's just one of those, you see it and you know.
Yes, you do. We're just happy you're here, Tom. Nice of you to be here.
All right. And I said we'd go, 90 minutes? So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Give you guys a little break before you guys go live on your own show.
That'll be fun.
I'm sure we could, keep on talking, have it go straight through, and you just switch over. But we all need some break. Huge shout out to the 20 people that have been watching almost the entire time. That is amazing. So with the last couple minutes here, we've been just having a conversation about what you guys are working on. So where do you guys see yourselves going in the next 5 years or so, as you're really getting your feet running into having multiple clutches per year and expanding?
Oh my gosh. Well, I still see us in ball pythons. We're not going anywhere. You guys are all stuck with us for a long time,
Yeah.
I hope. But we never see it as a full-time thing. We both work full-time and love coming home and hanging out with the snakes and the rats. I don't know, probably in 5 years we'll be more focused. Right now we're a little bit all over the place, but we kind of like being all over the place because it's a lot of stuff that we love.
Yeah, it kind of fits our personality too.
Yeah, we're a little bit all over the place. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can imagine us paring down at some point, probably to like the 50 to 80 range.
Right.
Once we decide what we want to focus on.
Right, and you guys are vending, so you're able to be like, okay, we can move these animals that we're no longer interested in because they don't fit the direction we're headed.
Right.
Yeah.
Or trade them with people, work within the community. But that's awesome. So with that direction in mind, do you have any idea of double recessive, triple recessive, or
Oh gosh.
Oh, like one that I know I want to do is sunset hypo.
Okay.
And there was something I want to do with puzzle, but I've forgotten now.
He'll remember it after we get off of here. No.
Sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
Yeah. No,
the government is yelling at me that it's going to snow.
Oh, of course
nice.
it is. One thing I know that we definitely want more of is more of Tom's black pastel. That is one thing that down the road we want to work. We want to work into our stuff because we love black pastel, but there is something about his black pastel that is even better than a regular black pastel, of course.
Yeah, and then I know we'll be working just special for sure.
Right.
And whether that goes in clown or sunset or whatever.
Yeah.
Puzzle.
He loves
I'd like to put it in everything.
So I mean that's cool that you guys are working sunset and puzzle, where most people are working one or the other or neither. I'm working ultramel clown, hypo, hide, desert ghost. I think there might be some other ones hidden in there that I don't think I'm working just because they're heads. So you guys are differentiating yourself already from the norm of people that have been in for 2-3 years.
Yeah, Het puzzle was like our third snake probably.
Yeah, that was something I knew I wanted immediately.
And then Het sunset was probably within our top 10 first snakes that we got, I would say.
Yeah.
Our female.
Yeah, and she was at the time she was like $2,500. She's a 5 gene with a hat.
Wow.
She was a pretty penny when we
got her from Captive Bred Specialties. They weren't going to sell her, and then all of a sudden they did a post and they chucked everything on Morph Market. Yeah.
Wait a minute, I want her.
Yeah. So that was fun.
You just got to be in the right place at the right time.
Oh gosh, you got to have your phone on you, like walking around. Like they're gonna message any minute now. Yeah. They're gonna message.
Right now, we've got a lot of like piebald hypo stuff that's already double recessive.
Yeah.
But,
awesome. So you have the double visual that's also het for something else.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping to hit my first double visuals this year, but we'll see. If not, I'll just buy them. I mean, hypocline's relatively inexpensive at this point.
Right.
Well, and that's
what's happened, right?
Yeah, we started out with just our het puzzles. So we have the 2 het puzzle males and like 3 or 4 het puzzle females, I want to say. And then now the way things have been, I was like, we will only get a puzzle when we can finally make one. But last month we bought our first visual male puzzle. So
I find myself doing that as well. It's like, okay, I'm doing double het to double het. Now it's visual het to double het. Now it's visual to visual,
exactly.
Opposite hets type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, the prices come down or they become available, and we just just able to do that.
And for us, it was after putting our 2 het clowns together and getting that visual clown, then like the bug really hit. Like, oh, okay. We can really make the visual stuff. I want to make some of the visual stuff because that clutch was just so much fun.
Yeah, it was really good
to see that little clown head pop out.
Right. It's always exciting. Or, if you're shooting for pies, you see the white
Yeah.
There's certain things that were just like, all right, I know it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you get excited and you think you hit a pied or something like that, and it winds up being a champagne.
Yeah.
That was
what you
was
saw.
Kurt was so excited when the
because the
clowns were
patterns
hatched.
are so weird on that one clutch. It looked like we had 3 visual clowns just from the sides.
He thought everything was clown. It's like,
No, we got one, but we did get some really, really strange patterning. So it's still good.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting. Now, I've had a couple clutches under my belt. It's like, okay, I can kind of see, what it is or make a guess, but I'm waiting, until they come out just to see. What? You're gonna do this to me 2 weeks in a row.
She just wants to say hi.
Got personality.
Yeah,
Okay.
normally, if I was sitting over there watching TV, he would be sleeping on the couch.
Exactly. You're not on the couch. You got to go to the couch.
Be quiet. So hopefully I can figure out a filter that locks her out. She just went out was that a half an hour ago? All right, so we'll wrap it up because
Well,
don't
thanks,
really
Kent,
feel
for
like
having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
This was fun.
With that being said, if you are not following Nikki and Kurt, they are awesome enough to have a link tree, which is the greatest thing ever for social media. And their link tree is in the description to the video. So if you're not following them, click on the link tree. You can go to their Morph Market, YouTube, Instagram. Every link imaginable that they have is there. So it saves me time because I can copy one link instead of finding every social media thing they have. So if you're not following them, please go follow them. And in about 1 hour,
Yep.
take your break. Go head over to their channel where now you guys are here. You can tell us who you have on.
Oh, so we are starting an adventure. We started with our first live last week with just the two of us where we introduced ourselves. And then this week, we're beginning our adventure with breeders from the Pacific Northwest. So out where we are, we live in Washington. We're starting with some of the people that we met at the beginning of our journey. And we have an amazing co-host, Angel Caro. So we're going to be talking with Salish Serpents about spot nose, and he knows a lot about genetics. So we're going to have some questions for him on that line. And This is his first podcast or his first live stream ever. So he's super excited. We're excited to have him on.
Oh,
there's a lot of people up here that just haven't ever done them.
Yeah, I would say, it takes a lot to, be on this side where you're hosting it and doing all that stuff. But, reach out to be a guest somewhere. It'll take you some getting used to being, just treat it like you're talking to the people on the screen, not the people in the chat and the rest of the world. We're just having a conversation. But it's definitely, helped me, even being a guest or hosting my own. But that is awesome.
When Kurt and I went live last week before we started, we were both, I was super nervous. And I said, God, Kurt, we're going to be lucky if we make it 15 minutes, just the two of us. Somebody's going to have to sit there and listen to the two of us. And I looked at the clock and I was like, okay, it's been 45 minutes. We should probably let people go now.
Right. Sometimes I try to keep an eye on it, but, we go over, conversation, but, I have to be mindful that we all have, lives after this, outside of this, that we can't just talk here for 2-3 hours. Some of us can, looking at you, Justin, from Stone Age, or Tucker. I think I had Tucker on, and we did 90 minutes of green tree pythons and 90 minutes of ball pythons.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I wanted to talk about green trees because I'm not knowledgeable, and he wanted to talk about the ball pythons. So I just let him go. It was fun. Thank you for coming on. You guys are doing great things over there with your social media. You are much better at reels and whatnot than I am. I just post a picture of the thumbnail.
It's all her.
And I'm getting tagged and stuff like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But I wish you guys the best of luck this year. Great having you on. Great chatting with you. To the 2018 people, however many people have been here the whole time, thank you all for tuning in and putting up with me. And it's been nice to finally have guests back on and not doing a panel show. And I get to know people, and you guys get to know people, maybe that you wouldn't have known before. So thank you guys for coming on. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll catch you guys on Tuesday for Ball Things Considered, where I talk about giveaways. It should be interesting. Hopefully I don't go on a rant. but thank you all for tuning in, and have a great rest of your weekend.